the next big thing was to book the tour, the Aurora tour.
Yeah.
Um, so again, we weren't like experienced Aurora chasers or um, drive. We didn't have experience in driving in icy
Yeah.
conditions, and also the next thing was to find this Aurora tour company which would give us that experience.
Yeah.
The way there are also many companies who sell, the Aurora packages and all, but how to differentiate that, who is there to make money, who is there to really give you an authentic experience.
Mm.
So there is this uh, guy called Vincent Ledmina. He's like a PhD student in
Oh,
some who lives in Alaska and whose hobby is to trace auroras and photograph auroras. So
amazing.
he ties up with a company who specializes in these aurora tours. So we booked that beforehand while going to our trip, and this was also booked like a month before.
How did you find
Uh,
this contact? Like, was it they have a website or was it listed? Like, how did you understand that there is this person and this will be the best experience, or as per your understanding? So, how did you go about it? Because one thing is generally when we travel, we go down to websites like Viator, Klook, Get Your
mhm.
Guide, wherein all these tours and packages are listed, right? But finding out a niche and then knowing about it. So, how did you find this guy?
Yeah, first of all, this I think I would like to give credit to my wife. She found this guy, and I she used Reddit
Okay,
and Instagram. So
nice.
these are the two main options she used. One of the criteria what she does and I do is that we do read a lot of Reddit for getting
Yeah.
authentic information and experience.
Yeah.
And so I think one of the Redditors had mentioned about this person,
Okay.
and then from that we went to see the Instagram of this person, and we found him legit. And basically, my wife was looking at his profile for a few days
Yeah.
and looking at his Instagram stories, and could see that he was going every day and putting Aurora things. He was giving a lot of information about the sky conditions, about the Aurora timing, KPI index. So we thought that this guy really knows his
Yeah.
stuff. I mean,
Yeah.
he's not just like a tour guide,
Correct.
but he really knows. And then he had affiliation with couple of companies. One company which we went with, and another company. So basically, there's another person called Maya Hartswigen.
Okay.
She is a lady who is a very good photographer and aurora chaser.
Okay.
And we actually really want to go with her, but we missed out on her
Okay.
because she was already booked.
Okay.
Imagine like she was already booked a month before.
Yeah.
The thing was, but we went with another tie-up of this person who had like a accommodation available for us for that day, and that's how we knew and booked this tour.
So, if you can give an idea about the charges for this tour, or maybe what's the in general cost and why this guy or this very specialized experience, was there any difference, or it was in the similar range? And if you can give an idea what the tour package costs and what all inclusions are there?
Yeah, so this tour package was like a private tour,
Yeah.
so it was only for four of us,
Hmm.
and the price was like $300 per person.
Okay.
That included to and fro transportation.
Yeah.
So they pick you from your place of accommodation, and they take you to a couple of locations to see the aurora.
Yeah.
And they also click the photos.
Okay.
So they have like so the person who is like who will take you to see the auroras,
Yeah.
he also click the photos for you.
Yeah.
So if at all i- like in a group, if you don't have like an experienced photographer
Correct.
person, then you can definitely consider this because the photos he clicked was pretty good. It and definitely it's a once in a lifetime experience, so it's definitely
Exactly.
good to cherish that.
Yeah.
And what they do is that they take you to a location where they have built like some small yurts. Like yurt is
Okay.
like a small hut,
Yeah.
and that is like that hut is basically having some like heating conditions inside it. So it's temperature control and it has a heater inside it. And then they have like some snacks and coffee and all for
Yeah.
you, because the temperature outside is so cold you cannot stand for more than 10 minutes. Okay.
Right.
So the experience is that they take you to this hut, and the tour guide, he will basically do the work of tracking the aurora.
Okay.
Like, and he will see the apps, and he will, once he spots the aurora, then he will bring you out of the hut and
Okay.
show you the aurora, take the photos. So that was, and then once the whole experience lasts for almost like 5 hours,
Okay.
and um, if you're satisfied, you can ask to wrap up it earlier.
Okay.
But I think the it's like a fire experience by itself, and then they drop you back at your place of accommodation. So this all is included in that price.
So this is what only on one day, or if you don't sight on the first day, they take you every day. What is the kind of arrangement? Like, suppose you are 3 nights over there, right? And if you sight Northern Lights on the first day, do they take you back on the second day, or what? Is it only like if you are able to see it once, able to sight it once, then you're done?
Yeah. So yeah, so they had mentioned and what they do is that on the day you're booked. So let's say if you're booking way in advance, you're not
Yeah.
sure about the conditions on the day you have booked. So in case you don't see it
Yeah.
on the day which they take you, then they advertise that they would take you again the next day.
Okay.
So was the only company which advertised it like that. That if you're not able to see the
Yeah.
aurora on the first day, they will take you again on the next day, like that. However, there is a catch that imagine you see even little bit of aurora, okay?
I understood. Yeah.
Then it's like you have seen the aurora.
Right.
It may not be spectacular vision,
Understood. Yeah.
and even if it's like a little glimpse,
Yeah.
or then they will say, oh, you have seen the aurora, so we cannot take you. So that happened with us actually.
Okay.
um, Again, I would say this is pros and cons. I don't know
Correct.
how to say how of booking in advance or booking on
I
the
was
spot.
about to ask, my next question was that can they predict at least on the day or a day before that tomorrow sighting might be possible, or they can, like rain, can they predict sightings at
Yeah, yeah.
maybe? Yeah.
So they can predict the sightings,
Yeah.
but what we experienced was they won't give you recommendations
Mhm.
like, hey, today we don't think it's gonna be spectacular, so do you want to book some other day? They won't do that.
Okay.
But they would know how, like, of course they had the data to have an idea of how the sky will look tonight.
Correct.
That is up to you. So I would recommend anyone here
Yeah.
that you do your own due diligence and research a little bit. And
Yeah.
even if you book a tour, uh, and if you don't feel confident that tonight the sky won't be that spectacular, then beforehand you call them and postpone it. And
Okay.
so that you can do. With us, what happened was we reached Fairbanks that night, literally at 8 p.m., and our tour started at 9:30 p.m. So
Okay.
we really didn't have the bandwidth to monitor the sky conditions and all. And even though my wife thought that tonight may not be that spectacular because she was reading a lot about it,
Yeah.
but what they advertised us was that they would drive like towards like very long distances until and unless we see that. That's what
Right.
they promised us, and we went by it. But
Yeah.
there are few caveats. Once we reached there, um, their whole experience, I would say, was good. I mean, I wouldn't say it was like bad or anything. But unfortunately, on that day, the aurora was not that spectacular.
Right.
So we did see some aurora in the sky.
Yeah.
We do also have photos through the through camera. The
It looks
actual
good.
photos he took, it looked nice.
Yeah. So
But
that is what I actually heard also, right? Naveen, I guess
hmm,
there were a few instances in the recent months where people in UK, a certain part of UK and Canada experienced aurora right in their backyard, right?
yeah,
Yeah, so I guess Naveen also had that experience, and he mentioned the same thing. It looks wild in the photos, but in real you won't feel the same intensity. It's kind of a fabric which keeps on moving, and the intensity
yeah,
is not similar what it looks in reality.
yeah, yeah. So I'll come to that.
Yeah,
But I have a surprise for you too. So, but that day, it
yeah,
was very underwhelming. Okay,
yeah,
it looked as if, yeah, as you mentioned, like maybe people from Canada or Seattle, they would see it look like that.
yeah,
So, uh, I mean, uh, anyone wouldn't go to Alaska to see that big image of
yeah,
what we saw that day.
yeah,
I mean, it was, to be honest, very underwhelming. And the tricky part was like the tour company for them, it's like, oh, you have seen the Aurora.
yeah, done.
Then yeah, so it's not. So we did request them that
Yeah,
can you bring us again tomorrow
yeah,
if we request. And also it was a hassle, to be honest, because according to them we had seen the Aurora, and then how we they would be convinced that we didn't see and all, even though it was not that great. But I think this is the very tricky part whenever like you book a tour which gives you an experience with nature, right? You
yeah,
cannot predict nature, and this is like always a gamble.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
like
But
first,
see, it's more of a gamble for people who are traveling from far away, like from India to travel to
yeah,
Finland or Norway. It's like not only a gamble in terms of time, day, but also in terms of cost, energy, office
yeah,
leaves, right? So I think one way you are better placed is that it was still in US, and the cost wise element I think would be a bit lower compared to what we Indians have to when we have to plan for it, right? Because going all the way from here to Finland or Norway and then having that little window and that
yeah,
chance is more of a risk,
yeah.
right?
So that's what, like, even we research like the best
Yeah,
person and the best company and the one of the best times, still it was underwhelming. One of the thing was, like I mentioned, right, that person Vincent Ledwina, who was the main criteria for choosing
yeah,
the company. So unfortunately on that day he wasn't our tour guide.
okay,
So he, because there's sort of Thanksgiving weekend, so in US
okay,
many people take off and they celebrate with their family.
yeah,
So the person we got, he was I think a little inexperienced as well. So I call it luck or whatever, but and um, he was a little reluctant to take us to other locations too,
okay,
to chase the Northern Lights.
okay,
I think what we felt was he was just there to do his job. So
right,
I would say uh, even sometimes like the best tour companies and best review things, it's all subjective when it comes to about
yeah,
nature, because on that day we have seen photos with the same company 2 days, 3 days ago, 1 week ago. They have seen amazing pictures of sky,
yeah,
but it's, you can't help it, and then you can't
right,
blame the
correct,
nature or anyone. So this is always a tricky part. I found this was like a very tricky part. Like, even though we researched a lot, we pre-booked a lot of things, and we were very thorough in our bookings and research, but
yeah,
still we felt that it wasn't enough for
yeah,
this. Um, so yeah, that was about the tour company and on that day. But fortunately, we had kept couple of more days for
Yeah.
us for the same reason that if we cannot see it on the first night or if we are not happy, then we have more days. And yeah, that's how our trips unfolds next.